One. Okay. Woo. All right. Welcome back, everybody. This is the Cult of Belial. I'm Paul, and I'm joined here by Brother Sander.
Yours
We had a lot of
truly.
yeah. Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for joining me, man. We've had a lot of people talk about, ask us personally and ask in the group about pacts, and we were talking. We're like, this would be a good topic to discuss in a video. One, because the literature that's out there, one, is very old, it's outdated, and two, there's a lot of misleading stuff out there. If you were to say like, look on the internet or uh, maybe some other uh, occult groups that you're a part of, occult websites, covens, So we've taken it upon ourselves to really talk about the ins and outs of packs. And if we have time, we're also going to talk a little bit about merges because they really do go hand in hand. Um,
Mhm.
Now, what is a pact, right? What are the implications of a pact? Um, when you are writing out a pact, when you are in agreement with a spirit, it's essentially a covenant. It's a promise between you and the spirit. Okay. And what that covenant allows the spirit to do is use their full powers in order to get you your desired result or goal. And that means there's no area of your life that is off limits for the spirit to touch. Okay. Some people have their lives completely upended because of a pact. Some people uh, don't get their goal in the way that they want it to, right? And there's things that you can do to avoid like everything falling apart. Um, there really you should work it out with the spirit, right? You should always go into this invoking or evoking the spirit, having some kind of back and forth. Listen, when I made my first pact with Azazel, I had like things that I wanted down. And when I evoked him and talked to him about it, the first thing that he did was deny me. He said, I will not sign this. Okay. And as time progressed, as I kept evoking and learning from him, I had this revelation, right? Like I wasn't thinking big enough, you know. I wasn't I wasn't taking this as serious as I thought I was. And I rewrote everything. I evoked Azazel. I was working it out with him. He was telling me what he expected. I was telling him what I expected. And this took about a week, when we finally came into agreement, man. I had like the rough draft. I got a new paper and I actually had a like a formal ritual of signing, and I will talk about some things that I've learned from Lucifuge about the actual making of the physical pact and the ritual for affirming a pact. You see, I've got shadows right here standing. This is kind of cool. We got
Oh,
an
they're
audience.
always present.
I know, I know, but uh, yeah, it is a covenant. It's a promise, right? So you really want to know who you're getting in bed with, right? You really want to consult either some of us in the group, me, Sander. You want to consult uh, somebody who's well known in this community before you get into bed with a spirit. Sander, if you want to, we were talking about this before we started recording. Sander, if you want to jump in and explain, like sometimes spirits will just push you off to the side. Go ahead and take the wheel.
Well, pacts are unfortunately greatly misunderstood within the new age. Let's call it community. I don't really think it's a community because it's an individual path by the most part. Of course, at some stage, you will be brought into connection with others who can guide you and help you when is needed. The synchronicities of the universe shall go hand to hand with the path, and the spirits will act accordingly to them. They will push you where you're supposed to be. At the same time, And at the same time, not only you, it will be actually each and every other person who participates in this path that will be pushed to very similar extents and places, which you will end up as well connecting with similar people. The synchronicities are crazy in the way they work. Now, people believe that a pact is something that they should do in order to begin themselves into this path or to initiate somehow into a specific current. It is extremely lightly taken. They see it as a little schoolboy promise made to another classmate, so to say. I promise to help you cheat the next test if you help me cheat this one. It doesn't work this way at all. It is extremely dangerous, actually, to get into a pact foolishly. The majority of people who reach out for help are actually people with bad pacts that were not thought of at all before signed or performed at a very, very early stage of the practice, which is once again a very bad act to do. So, in order to think of a pact, first of all, you must be a little bit deeper into the path first. You shouldn't be a complete beginner. There are, of course, exceptions to every rule, but then it depends upon your path and what the spirits have installed for you. This is why it is always, always of a safe and wise practice to consult with a professional or someone who is advanced in the path who can guide you accordingly. And then, of course, you may escape the dangers of a badly performed pact because there is no way out of it once it has been signed. There is really no deleting it. It's it's not a written piece of pencil on a pen that you can erase with an eraser. It doesn't work this way. A pact is literally a deal which shall be sealed before the entire universe, actually, between your astral double and the spirits that will be present from whichever divine. You can actually make a pact with angels as well. I have with Raphael, personally. Okay. And with, well, unofficially, without to my knowledge, one with Michael has also been made, which of course I'm aware now, but when I was new, I didn't know that. You can make a pact with angels too, but any pact will have both divines present, both the infernal and the angelic. All shall oversee your pact, and your double will be there as well. With or without your knowledge, this takes place before the entire universe. So think about the importance of such an act when the entire creation between this world and the other worlds is watching and is aware of what you have done. This is a severe seal to be putting upon a piece of paper that has your own soul's signature on it. Think about it. You always must be careful where you stick your signature and your phallus in life. Okay? That's the very first thing that they taught me when I was a young boy, growing up back in the days. Be careful of the signature and the other thing. Both are equally important to be careful of where you put them. So another thing must be your motivation. Why is it that you seek a pact? What is what you seek to achieve? You need a pact just to manifest some material wealth. Most of the time, you don't need this. You can just work hard and manifest this wealth, or you can just do a little path working with the spirit to manifest the wealth. Most of people are not really seeking for something that is huge, to be honest. The majority of things that people are seeking may be obtained with some hard work and determination, or with a little road opener casting to help them get where they want to be. But they do not need an entire pact for this. So you must really, really think of the motivation and the reasons why you are taking upon a pact. One of the best motivations you can have, of course, is to develop yourself alchemically and to learn the ways of divine that which you are dealing with. In this case, can be the infernal one. and to reach the highest possible degree for your own self, to reach your own ascension and development, to develop as a soul and as a person in total. This is one of the best motivations you can make a pact for. Now, mere material gains, not really so much. These will get you into trouble. And as I keep emphasizing, consult with a professional, someone who knows what they're doing. Don't just go out there in the internet. And man, I see this so often. There are hordes of people who will go out there in the internet and just blindly throw a ritual for a pact. And there would be like, this is the way to do it. Summon the spirit now. This is a very beneficial spirit for all of you. This doesn't exist for all of you. What does all of you mean? You're telling me that any spirit can be there for anyone? It doesn't exist. You should never blindly follow the advices that you see on someone on the internet. Don't even follow mine for that matter if you haven't consulted with me personally, so I know who you are and what suits you. Okay? I may give general advice, but nothing that I say that you should perform should be blindly performed by any of you. Just because I come out here and say that this and that spirit resonates with me and favors some of my soul attributes, that doesn't mean that you can come into this and do it yourself. You have to know your own self, your soul attributes first, and know who you should be dealing with. So be extremely careful who you pact with, know why you pact with, and do not ever, ever merely blindly follow people on the internet who give you random sigils and rituals to perform. Because what happens is, 99% of the cases, that sigil is meant for that particular person. That person didn't ask the spirit for permission to make it public. That sigil is not for your soul, it's for his. There is a code in everybody's soul. It's literally like a key. You cannot take anybody's key and try to open your own door. You need your own door's key to unlock it. It doesn't make sense. It's not going to work. Honestly, you're just going to be left with a locked door. Your door won't open, just like no spirit will take your deal. And the ritual is just not going to work for you. And you're gonna be banging your head against the wall, thinking that you are useless and you do not have any cultivated power and that alchemy is fake, simply because you're using someone else's stuff, which is just not meant for you. And the spirit is not gonna calm down and try to comfort you and tell you you're making a mistake. That's not their job. The nature of the demon is neglectant. The demon won't give a shit, honestly. Ignorance is not an excuse in the spiritual realm. Having ignorance doesn't deem you innocent, doesn't deem you an exception to either authorization of the path or being denied from it or punishment of your actions in any way. Ignorance is no key to safety whatsoever. So learn this. It's unfair, I know, but it's how the creator has it deemed. It is rather cruel in many aspects. It is harsh, but that's how the rules work. And the exact same thing applies to merges, which can be even more severe than the pact itself, believe it or not. Which, of course, one of the very first people who was brought to emerge was yourself, if you remember from your own.
Hmm. Yeah. So I guess we'll talk right about merges then. A lot of people are unaware of what a merge is, right? So every person has a divine spark that we hold. And this is connected to source or the source of divinity, what many people would call God, right? Um, when you perform a merge, the spirit that you are merging with carries your divine spark. And as time progresses, uh, your one thing that happens is your consciousnesses will merge into one. Although you'll still be able to hear, the spirit. So like for me, I'm merged with the Zazel. I'm still able to hear and communicate him separate from myself. But my personality, the things that I like, the things that I enjoy, line up very, very, very closely with what Azazel likes. Um, and I begin to lose interest in things that I liked before. That is something that has definitely occurred. And another thing, and this is probably the most important thing, is all the powers that the spirit has available under his discretion becomes available to you, right? So the the thing that I am uh the thing that me and Azazel resonate with together the most is the knowledge portion. When you read like the Book of Enoch, more of the Hebrew literature, with the Yom Kippur ritual where they offered the sins on a goat. They took it to a cliff and they kicked it off to offer it to Azazel. Those are the kinds of things that one were immediate, right? Like I really enjoy the teaching aspect of black magic. I really enjoy getting people developed in the ways of witchcraft, ritual, and higher magic, the alchemy, right? And it's something that, as I worked with Azazel with, I realized that he really enjoys it too. In that aspect, we are one. You know, and when it as time progresses too, like I've done some other rituals that we've channeled where one thing is I wasn't even aware of this until recently. Punished. Excuse me. Painful magic. Excuse me.
It's okay. It's the Bazaboob black cloud that comes around sometimes. He does make you
I
cough.
know. 1 second.
I've had this for a while. He causes this unintentionally when he manifests within a space heavily sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
He brings, similar to Pazuzu, he brings a black cloud of wings, which can be a little bit harmful to health, sorry. And then people end up with a cough. In my previous cast, I had something similar from different energies of necromancy, of course, to what you do it. It's a thing they do basically. It's like trying to develop immunity to venom by taking small doses of it. So that's one way spirits will empower you is by hurting you with their inner energies to give you this immunity in small doses.
Oh yeah. Okay. Where was I? Oh yes. One thing. When I'm performing baneful magic, there are people that I've never met that have that I see on like social media that I just don't like for whatever reason, you know. And I'm like,
Happens a
I
lot.
I know, and I can't figure out why I want to just be like cast judgment on them, and do baneful magic. And one of the things that I ended up finding out is like it's part of why you're here. It's part of why we're here. This is a role that you are assigned. This is a role that we have to take upon ourselves. Whenever people, and this is probably not something that a whole lot of people know about, but whenever people, like, you ever heard the phrase "the devil made me do it"? That's you're finding a scapegoat. They're not talking about Satan. They're talking about Azazel. Okay. Whenever you hear that phrase, whenever somebody blows that out of their mouth, Azazel is waiting there, ready to consume it. And what he actually does is he will poke and prod that person to do something dumb that they did again, so that he can continuously feed, right? And for me in my merge, I'm able to take that and indulge in these sins and turn it into power. That is one thing that he teaches. And also, when I'm casting judgment upon people that I know have wronged others, I take that upon myself, because he also is one of the ruling spirits of the bottomless pit, because he was cast into the bottomless pit. You know, he's got a forge down there. He's got it's a soul forge. I've talked about this in a previous video, where he punishes people. And
There's a
being
prison
a,
too
it is, well, it really is a prison, um,
for the
but
damned.
that's, yeah, that's part of his role. And me being merged with him in the physical, I sort of take on that attribute as well, and I want to cast judgment, just not for any kind of hate or anything. It's just what I do.
In your case, you became one of the emissaries which serve the left hand of God, which is the punishing one, responsible to bring upon the nemesis within this world and the next.
Exactly. Yeah, and I want to jump back for a second too, because I really liked something that you said about Pacts. Um, you said that people try to treat Pacts or try to use Pacts to manifest something simple. I absolutely love that, man, because like if you're not getting results in your magic and you think a pact is a surefire way to get it, man, this is something that Lucifer actually told me when I was starting out. He said spirits are only willing to work as hard as you are put as spirits are only willing to work as hard as you are willing to put the work into. Okay. And this applies both in your castings and it applies to packs. All right. And my candle's fucking flickering like a motherfucker right now. So
Mine
that's
wouldn't spark.
yeah.
I
And
am to stay into the light today.
and what that means is a pact is not something that you sign and go about your day, right? You still have a lot of work to do. Think about it, it's signed like a contract for a job, you know? There are expectations of you that you have to fulfill, but the spirit is there 100% for you. Okay? If you don't want a pact to be eternal, so like I sort of started working a system of pacts. So I'll set like a 1 year time limit or 6 months. The minimum I do is 3 months in order to officially start a path working or learning something from the spirit. So I have ongoing path workings with Lucifuge. I did this with Beelzebub to learn vampiric healing from and casting sickness on people. Um, I have one with Azazel, which is just eternal. So it kind of sort of does count, but doesn't at the same time as far as like what I'm talking about is going forward. Um, but yeah, like if it's not like a wish granting thing, that's not how pacts work. And I feel like you should definitely get out of your head if that's what you think a pact is like. It's not. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's not gonna work at all. And when you're not getting results at the beginning from your cast summonings, which has happened to me as well, to everyone, it simply means you're not ready yet. Now, in my case, what I did is I kept on going and summoning and summoning and summoning. And then out of nowhere, when I reached a particular level, because of course they were guiding in ways where I didn't notice their presence. And I would find different small little meditations which I would perform. And I would see the effects that they would slowly boost teeny tiny parts of me. And then I kept on going. But I never give up. I was like, screw this, man. I'm going to succeed. I'm going to summon, and I'm going to connect with something. And for a long time, for months, nothing dealt with me. But I never gave up, personally, me, because that's where most people lose the game. And then next thing you know, out of nowhere, boom, the gates open and spirits start coming in like rain. And they'd be like laughing at
Mm-hmm.
you. They'd be like, persistence. We like that. That was good.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good move. And I was like, the hell, you be fucking watching me all this time? And I'm like, yeah, since day one, actually, since day of birth. And then that's where the plot thickens. And I was like, what? You know?
Yeah, and it's this big rabbit hole, like how long, and then they start throwing past life stuff at you, and it's just, man, it really
And
is
you're
like a
like, what
rabbit
you
hole.
mean? What you mean since birth? I thought it was like a month tops. And I was like,
Right,
no, no,
right, right, right.
no, no, no.
Man,
But yeah, literally, that's what it takes. The beginning is always a test. sometimes can be a very bad test, as we all know. All, at least those who follow the channel, they know of my story and my personal gate opening, so to say, wasn't the best. But that doesn't mean that my story will be everyone else's story. My story is very rare, to be honest. Most people have nothing nearly related to it. But when it comes to the next step, which is merges, merges are also something that is taken lightly, even more lightly than pacts, unfortunately. What happens is there is once again a plethora of these new age practitioners who come out and seek to gain whatever within their minds they consider to be fame, and they throw out a sigil and a ritual and an end for people to use in order to merely merge with a particular spirit of their general choice without any connection, without knowing themselves deep within first. You cannot make a choice upon a spirit if you do not know your own everything.
No.
That was literally a wall.
Hell yeah, dude.
The cracks. I'm not touching anything here. You see, I'm sitting on the
I know.
couch,
I
literally,
know.
like the next furniture is away from me in a distance of 5 meters, no, 8 meters away. Like this is a big room.
Yeah.
I'm not touching anything here. You cannot merely, oops, something flew. You cannot merely choose a spirit if you do not know your own soul attributes. If you do not know yourself, how can you claim to know the spirit? How can you claim to be able to merge with it? First, you must discover yourself to be self aware. This is one of the most important parts of ascension. People lack so much self awareness. Ask any person, what are your attributes as a soul? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? What are your goals? And what are your desires? What is your life's purpose? For what do you exist within this incarnation and upon this world? The majority will never be able to answer the very first question. Never mind the rest of them. This simply tells us that you must dig deep within to discover yourself and to come to realization of yourself. Discover your light and your shadow first before you ever attempt to try and request a merge or a pact. Trust me, dear beloved, if you neglect all warnings given, it will go south. And this is why we have so many scared people running around spreading mischief about the path and about the spirits, claiming that their misfortunes were nothing but a mere result of trickery against them. As if the spirits have nothing better to do than run around and trick and cause misfortune upon the one fool and the other. And how many fools are there upon this world? Huh? Plenty. We can go around the corner and find at least 10 sitting there unsuspectingly. So it is a lack of knowledge and bad course of action which causes the misfortune, which in depth was caused by you, the individuals yourselves. Know thyself first. If your soul attributes correspond to a patron, then that patron will have already taken act and contacted you first. Then the patron will start slowly coming to you and give you some small gems of knowledge. After you take these gems, you work with them for some time, 6 months to a year, until you develop a little bit. They will be anything from a small meditation to chakra development to black flame empowerment. You name it, the basic steps we all take to incorporate within ourselves to be able to withstand these currents. Withstanding the current is attuning to the current, and once you are attuned to the current, you shall stand before the spirits. None is to stand before the spirits before any attunement is made. This is a trigger to the spirits, and this is where the misfortune takes place and the mistreatment. So, it is like having the coordinate smell upon you. One can never try to enter the wolf pact smelling like a prey. The wolf sees the world through smell. The wolf will smell prey, the wolf will bite, and so will the rest of his pack. But when you come in smelling like a wolf, then the wolf, even if you look different, will accept you, and the pack will never ever bite. But they will even make you a part of the pack and let you hunt by them. It's all about the smell. Literally, in our case, it's all about the energy. When you match the energies of those who you seek to connect with through your hard work, then you shall receive. Walking foolishly without any clue, thinking that you can just walk into a dark forest, hopping around and singing la 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 and whistling away Dixie or what have you, not gonna work. You shall be eaten by whatever lurks within these forests. So there is a right way of doing things, and there is a wrong way of doing things. A merge is extremely severe. You shall suffer side effects which are irreversible to begin with. You can cry about it later all you want. It's not going anywhere. You shall begin to become overshadowed slowly and in time by the spirit which you have accepted to inhabit you and to become one with. You shall take upon you the attributes of the spirit. You shall take upon you the mentality of the spirit. You shall take upon you the views of the spirit for this world. You shall take upon you the way of speech, even, and the way of interaction with other people. You will find yourself in situations that fit this spirit and where the spirit's energy would thrive. These may not be the energies you want. For example, you are merged with Belial, who is great for business, but at the same time, his energy can spark spores of criminality around you. Imagine you find yourself well dressed like this in the middle of a ghetto, and then there is a ghetto fight sparking next to you. You are not in a situation where you want to be, and your attire makes you nothing but a magnet. So think about it. Have you done the correct choice? Are you a person who can survive within business, but once you find yourself in the ghetto, can you survive there too? Think about it, because there are different aspects to the spirit and its energies and different situations which shall arise, and you will find yourself to be. If you can survive his business, is great. If you can survive in the ghetto at the same time, you're good. You're balanced. So you may merge with the spirit and still survive its energies and whatever it may bring into your life, because this will be a continuous thing that shall take place within your lifespan. The merge is for the duration of the physical vessel. In some cases, it can be eternal if you decided to, or it can be for the duration of your lifespan, or only for a few years. It depends, but 99% of the time, it's for the duration of your lifetime, your physical lifetime. So, and you also act as a human portal, of course, because the flesh is the human portal. But of course, once the flesh dies, then the portal is closed. A different portal needs to be opened through a different incarnation later. So think about very well who you wish to merge with, and having taken into consideration that you know yourself beforehand, and then you may proceed with merging with someone. But know that the side effects are irreversible and are severe. And you can, like I said, jump from one foot to the next and cry all you want, and merge will never be undone. And neither will the pacts can be modified. actually. Pacts can be modified, pacts can be changed. A spirit can take the pact from another upon them,
Yep.
and
Yep.
one practitioner can give his pact to another as well in order to fix things. It is not something that we wouldn't do through our services as well. If you have a bad pact, which we can incorporate into our own practice, we shall take it off you and we can relieve you of this weight, because for us it is not a weight. It is nothing but extra empowerment. For you, it may be a life burden which you cannot handle. No problem. We can take that off you, of course. That's why services are there, for serious reasons, to be dealing with serious cases, which shouldn't be happening as frequent as it is. It has become a common occurrence to have a serious case going on,
Oh gosh, yeah.
but it is what it is nowadays. We cannot go back and we cannot turn the clock back 10 years ago. It is what it is now, and we have to roll with the times. But the merge is worse. The merge cannot be modified. The
Yeah,
merge
we
cannot be
can't take over
undone.
merges. We're sorry.
No, no, it cannot be modified. It cannot be undone. Once you do it, you do it, and the side effects are yours to handle. It's like the first invocation where people start feeling the effects of possession and the energy is manifesting in them, and they freak out and they
Hmm.
start crying and they beg for help, and it's like, oh, there is, some things. The majority of things can be fixed and they can be modified, but some things cannot be undone. Merge cannot be undone. People think the pact is actually more serious. It isn't. Pact is not that bad, to be honest. Pact can be made and fixed like all business deals.
Hmm.
All business deals are subject to change under terms and conditions. It stands in every business contract in this world. Who do you think gave the world of men the knowledge of contracts? None of this existed before. Huh? We all know where these things came from. The arts of warfare, the knowledge of business, the knowledge of political persuasion, magnetism, both for political, financial, or sexual reasons. We all know where these knowledge came from before the world didn't have any of these, before the world was childish to its nature and knowledge. Everybody was a child in mind. People didn't know anything. These attributes were given by yours truly. We all know the big man himself who dwells below. And that's as much as merges is concerned. Don't do it without consulting with someone who knows, and know that once you do it, there is no changing it. Your pact may be saved, your merge, not.
Absolutely, man. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the actual pact making process, at least the what you can do and the care that you can take in the actual creation of the pact. And this is something that I learned from Lucifuge. Uh, if you take this is the one bit of knowledge that is available in older grimoires, um, but really you can modify this however you'd like. But one thing that Lucifuge told me is like take care in the preparation of the actual physical things that go into the pact. So one thing that he said was, the goatskin parchment that's mentioned in some of the older grimoires.
Which
That's
was
that's
asked for me to also find, and it was a very difficult search in my very first one.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Um, and you're gonna take this goatskin parchment. If you have a spirit that has agreed to make a pact with you, you've got the terms settled, you're ready to write it out. What you can do is, or what you should do for this is a little bit more advanced, but anybody can really do this if they have the research and the knowledge. But you're gonna charge it like you would any other item. In ritual magic, we charge at thames with certain energies. We charge crystals with certain energies. We charge our altars. I mean, we consecrate the altars, right? This is going to work the same way. You're going to charge this parchment with a specific kind of energy. And one thing that you should also do is, some herbs that the spirit likes, the spirit enjoys. You can set them on some coals and burn it to release their energy. And you just want to direct all that energy into the parchment. Um, you can have some crystals, some stones, some metals. Metals are really nice for pact making processes. And just really take your time in charging this. Now, the actual writing material that you use, if you have like a more expensive pen, you can set this aside and only use it for packs. You can charge it again with a specific kind of energy. And for example, let's say you're dealing with Belial, right? You want to pact with Belial. You want to charge the parchment and you want to charge the pen with earth energy. And he also has a fire aspect. You can do fire energy as well. And there's debate about what planet that Belial rules over. Some say Mars, some say Jupiter, Saturn. Again, you can really select what what planetary energies to use dependent upon like your goal in the pact. Um, but
I
charging the
would not
actual
go with
items.
planets for him because he has so many aspects. It's
Yeah, yeah.
impossible to pin down. I would go with elemental attribution. Stick to earth, fire, and air,
Hmm.
depending on the aspects. Belial aspect is more earthly.
Absolutely.
Balfigor is more fiery. Balzebub is more air related. So these three elements are more closely related for him. You can use all three or one of them. I mean, it doesn't make much difference. I wouldn't go with planets with him. He's too complicated to
Yeah,
figure out.
absolutely. And that's what I say, man. There's so much debate on what planet he really rules over, and it's like, dude, you could really make an argument for all of them. Um,
I've also been given a specific name to make public for those who may wish to incorporate it. It's Beliaris, one extra hidden name to use, according as well as the other names that we also know. That
mhm.
was just given to me now.
Hell yeah, dude. You were channeling like crazy earlier, man. I heard it. I heard the voice
I've been
drop.
I've been like this for a while. It's nonstop. It's what I've been talking about the merge.
Merge. Yeah.
Because people may not know actually. I'm gonna have to make this public. My Belial merge is recent. I have not performed a merge in all the years that I was ever since I've started. In the years that I've been practicing since day one, before anybody of you knew me, very very brand new starting off. I never did pacts or merged. My merge is only recent, and I've been practicing for so long. Just to, give people a little bit of understanding as to how these things should work and how I decided to make a transition between one stage of the practice to the other. I did not pact or merge after 6 months of practice or a year. Okay. And I hear people coming here saying I'm practicing for the last 2 months and I made a bad pact.
I know. It's horrifying. It really is, man.
This is one of the
But
side effects, as you see.
yeah, yeah.
It's a
Back
non-stop.
to
You wake up and the channeling is right there.
yeah, yeah. Back to the pact making process. The ink. Some people say that you can add blood to the ink. Let's say if you're using like a feather or to something or a quill to write this, you can. Uh,
It
you
would
don't
be difficult
have
though.
to.
It's
Yeah, I mean
difficult for the most.
you can just do a drop, and mix it up. That really a single drop of blood, especially us as humans, there's a ton of spiritual energy in each single drop of blood. That a single drop is more than enough
And
to
you
get
don't
the
need a
goal
bucket,
accomplished.
of course.
No, 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 of course not, man.
I hear some
Uh,
crazy stories of people self-harming for the sake of a signature. Honestly, you do not need to do that. Please don't do
right.
that. I personally will never support self-harm in this
Hmm.
extent. There are others who preach about the benefits of scarification and what have you. I'm gonna sit back and call you sick and
Yeah.
say that there is no benefit in scarification of yourself. It shouldn't be about this. You should never do that to yourself. I've never done it and never will. So you may follow those who preach of it, but I can only say that if you are willing to cause self-harm and scarification upon you for life, for me personally, you really need some mental help. Okay?
Hmm.
I don't do that. Never have,
Yeah,
never
I
will.
I think I think both of us use like little needles or diabetic lancets, dude. That's
It's
more.
a
You can get a
finger.
lot of blood. Yeah, you can get a
Oh yeah.
lot of blood off of
You've
a
seen me paint an
diabetic lancet.
entire huge sigil about that
Yeah,
big before. You know,
yeah.
remember the road opener with a
Hmm.
kind of like a drum looking thing? I
Yeah.
filled up with only one finger, and it was
Hmm.
that big of a sigil that I had to draw. It was literally half my body, that big,
Yeah.
from here to here, and my finger did the work. So please don't self harm.
Right.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
Yeah, but like if you're adding blood to ink, I mean, you can, you don't really have to. Of course, there's going to be benefits if you do, but you're going to be signing your name and over the sigil anyways, and then bloodying it anyways. Um, but if you want to take the care and making the ink a little bit more special, perfectly fine. Uh,
One small big information as a tip: if you have your double soul sigil, then add it to the pact, and then you can sign it
Absolutely.
with your little blood with that. This will solidify it to the next level. There you go. If, damn, now I'm starting. If you have it. If you don't, that's fine. Your mortal name could do. But of course, we can always figure out your true name and your soul sigil if you go through us as well. But this is why I always emphasize go through someone who is a professional, someone who is advanced. You will get much more benefit rather than sitting down and hoping for the best and shooting in the dark.
Right. Once everything's set in stone, man, once you got the official pact written out on the goatskin parchment, or even just a special kind of paper that resonates with you, um, the ritual of the signing, you're going to sit down, you're going to invoke the spirit. You are going to present the pact to them. You're going to read it out word for word with as much of your willpower as you can. Then at the end, you will say, sign and swear this covenant with me now. You will sign your name. If you have a soul sigil, you'll have the soul sigil and still sign your name underneath it or over it. You will, and you're going to have the sigil of the spirit uh, next to your soul sigil, and you're going to sign over that. Then you will let the spirit possess you. Okay. He will either sign it himself with his own signature, or he will draw the blood. You will draw the blood and then sign it. Okay. Once the signing is complete, you will seal the pact. I normally use black or red wax, and you will keep it either on your altar or in a dark place. And you will keep this pact, the physical pact, until either the duration of it has expired, or if it's eternal, uh, you're just going to want to keep it around. Now, an interesting thing happens, and this is something that came to me just now. An interesting thing happens once this kind of care has been taken into the creation of the pact. You haven't just made a physical copy of the pact. There's layers to reality. Okay. What has happened is both in the physical, the astral, and the spiritual.
I was literally gonna talk about the same thing because I got it as you
Yeah,
before you said it. I was like, oh, I have to say about this, but you got it now. Go.
yeah, but the creation of this pact, all this charging that you've done, it has created like a triple or quadruple layer of this pact. Some people say that you should burn the pact to send it to the records keeper, who would be
Oh,
Lucifuge Rothakal.
it's sent already. No worries.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone knows. As I said, the whole universe is watching. There's nowhere you can hide.
Right. But you have made like a triple copy that permeates all levels of reality. See, as humans, we exist in all layers of reality. There are
At the same
there are
time,
Yeah, at the same time. So, You know, I'm talking like 99% of people only experience reality on the physical level. There are things that
Unless they're
exist.
sleeping.
Right, right.
People don't
There are
understand dreaming is a projection.
I will agree partly. I don't think all dreams are projections. I think if
Majority.
after you've practiced for a while, most of them will be projections. Um, but there are things that exist beyond the physical, that exist in the ethereal or the astral and up. Things that only exist in the astral and up. And as magicians, you know, we train ourselves in order to be able to perceive these more subtler entities, these subtler energies, you know, because most of these things you won't see with your physical eyes. You know, we have to learn how to see this in the astral. We have to use extrasensory perception in order to.
Unless if you have the sight, then it opens. Then you can see a lot of things on a daily basis. I've
Right,
seen spirits fly around in the damn bus, and I'm sitting
right,
there like, oh, I don't believe this. Nobody's looking at this. Only I can see this. This is
right,
crazy. And
right.
you're
But
snapping.
there is,
I've seen Belial pop around in an office, dude, full of
yeah,
people where I work. And literally, I'm like, oh my god, nobody can see him. He's right fucking there.
right,
And
right,
I'm just there
man.
like, I'm there. I swear, first time I was so shocked. I was trying to signal him, like, go away, go, go.
I bet you he was sitting up there going like,
No, he's just like, he just does the, mm, mm-mm.
yeah,
Just
exactly.
sits there with the hand like, uh-huh.
But
I'm like, dude, I work here.
there are things that exist. I mean, there's a whole ecosystem of spirits. Like, you know how we have birds and insects and mammals and fish, dude. The same variety of life or whatever you want to call it exists on these other levels of reality. And with in relation to the pact, dude, once you sign this, once you've taken this kind of care into the creation of the pact, everything in all layers of reality will be able to perceive this, and that this is really what allows the spirit to employ their full powers into attaining your goal.
Absolutely, absolutely. Everything one does has some kind of effect and correlation to this realm and the next. Actions and reactions will, of course, contribute to the next incarnation as well. So people better be a little bit more careful of what they do. Judgment is a thing, as I keep saying. Everything shall come back and bite you, with or without your knowledge, in the next life. And you will be nothing but an innocent, unsuspected person, cruising through life as you shall, having no idea what is coming to you. And when it does, you won't know what hit you, or for what reason. Such are the laws of the Creator once again. Cruel, but it is how it is, and he works the way he works. Understand him or not, which you shall not, because nobody does. It is how he works. Because the so-called devil, as they call him, has many functions, many different jobs upon this world. He is the reaper who brings death and ends one's soul. He is the left hand of God, the punisher, who punishes the wicked, the mean nemesis delivered upon this world and the next. He is also he who carries the sins of the world upon him, for he has that particular power to do so. And he's also the tormentor of those who are damned to remain below with him in his realm for the actions which they have caused because of what kind of energies they have subscribed themselves into. It is mostly about the energy behind the act which brings damnation and not the act itself. Kill in self-defense or in a war. You are not deemed damned, although you committed a negative act. Do it out of any other reason. Let it be habit, pleasure, or simple sinistry. You shall be deemed damned, and you shall remain nothing but a dark shadow within the valley of the shadows of death, or even worse, close to the prisons of Azazel and the bottomless pit where the tormentation takes place. And you shall be used mostly for that purpose, or for the training of witchers which shall need souls to torment in order to learn how to become part of the left hand of God, of the tormenting force which torments upon the damned and the wicked, and many other things, of course, which are too long to be putting into one small category in just a few minutes. Of course, we shall be here time after time to teach people again and again.
All right, man. That was a lot of good knowledge in this video, but we're gonna wrap it up here.
Of course.
Thanks everybody for joining us again. And as Sander always says, if you want to take us out with your catchphrase, man.
Stay knowledgeable and stay constructed, and follow the correct ways, and your path shall be abundant. Rise and conquer.
Rise and conquer.